from here. I'm gonna like maintain this kind of distance like this. Once I step into this distance here where we can punch, if I'm not the one punching, I'm probably gonna get punched, right? So I'd like to be the instigator, I guess. If I've determined this is a situation I need to like advance into this here, I'm gonna step in here, one like this. A lot of times this will make the guy draw his arms up, like to kind of guard. So whenever he is here and draw his arms up, second one comes through here. I'm gonna kind of corkscrew it a little bit because a vertical fist fits through spaces a little better than a horizontal one for some reason. So bam, right here. And hopefully that just drops him, that'd be fantastic. If it did, it probably won't. But once I hit here this way, I fall into position here behind the leg, like this. And I don't have to necessarily like scoop and pick the leg up, so we're not gonna do that tonight. What I'm gonna do instead is this here. So, go one, draws the hands up, two, oh, clip here. I step in and hit here. Now, what I'm doing instead is I'm gable gripping the two hands and my shoulders going real heavy on his leg like this. And from there, I'm gonna actually just kind of push and force into him this way here. You see his leg comes up anyway. So it's not me pulling up and back, it's me driving down and forward. And it's gonna have the same kind of effect because it's gonna get his leg off the ground here. Now, if I just step and like kind of run the pipe to the outside, so what I mean by that is this foot steps a little bit this way and this right leg steps back a little bit and then the drop here this way. Okay, I'll monitor the legs. This one's coming in to monitor the hip on the back on the fall. So, here, I go 1, 2 through the pocket. If he brings his hands up, you notice like there's a hole here. That's where my second one's kind of going, right? Well, here, 1, 2, this way here, clip the chin, step in here, my head up, not down, up like this. Drive the pressure onto the thigh here, leg pops up like this. I step to the outside now, back. Okay, questions? Got it? Let's go. That's to turn this into like a striking class, but it does merit like a little bit of discussion about how to throw these things. And so my hands are up so that I can cover and I can defend, obviously, right? I don't necessarily want to fight with my hands down. So my hands are up here. When I start to throw the punch, I don't drop. I don't want to drop hands and do like karate punches, right? So it's yeah, this is not what it looks like. So here, I'm still covering this side. I feel like learn the rules this way and you can break them later if you get really good at it. But for me, I want to have something touching both sides of my face every time I'm punching. So in this case here, it's my shoulder one side and my hand on one side. Shoulder, hand, shoulder, hand, shoulder, hand. That way it covers as much of this as I can. It covers my jaw, it's shielding behind my ear a little bit, and this is the power switch right here. You get clipped to the chin, and that's one of the most concussive knockouts. So I want to try to cover that as much as I can whenever I'm entering in. So pop, pop. So why I say that is because I've noticed a little bit people doing this and then dropping this hand over here. Right? If he decided to swing at the same time I was, then I'm going to get hit on this side. I'm really exposed. So I go here 1, 2 this way. I step in here. It'll hold the leg. I'm driving first. But then to make the actual takedown here, once I get that leg a little floaty, is to step back here this way. All right, okay. So here now, I'm monitoring, right? So I step in this position. I'm keeping this one because why? A couple of reasons. One though is he doesn't just like scramble and get right back up, right? I don't want to like hit, he bounces, scrambles, and gets back up, and it was wasted energy for him. So I'm getting here like this. So after this here, now if we're talking about still striking, once he drops, I probably would follow up with like a big overhang left at this point. You know, that would be probably a pretty good follow-up. But then from here, you know, how do I engage the position? I can knee cut, and this is a good one I think we should look at tonight, because I do have one leg here between. I don't want him fishing for my leg on this side. So I'm gonna cut this one inside and across this way, right? I don't wanna try to step through here. I wanna cut across this way here, and I'm gonna shoot that underhook on this side, right? So we do this like a little knee cut pass. Basically, the idea of a knee cut is if my leg is between his legs. Now, if he's got both legs flat on the floor like this here, and I'm actually holding his leg up and I could just step over, that would be great. Like I'll do that. I'm imagining he's gonna bring his feet up here, right? So I've got this one between my legs, this one may be kicking or flopping around the outside. So when I cut here, this way through, right, like this, all the way through, and this establishes the underhook at the same time that my leg slides through, right? So one more time on the mechanics of this knee cut. I've got one leg between, one leg on the outside. Let's turn this way just a little bit. Here, my knee cuts this way. If I cut that way, I'm gonna wrap myself on his leg. So I cut here. This hand here that's holding can help throw the leg down, right? This way. And just slide right on over. Don't take a pit stop and hang out on his leg too long, right? Got the underhook established here. If this one's in my way, it's okay. I can just pick it up. Set, slide it nice and high on his chest and make heavy pressure. Questions? You can start from the takedown, or if you want to do the whole takedown, that's fine. Okay, let's go. Skipping ahead, we've established, we've made the takedown, we got past the legs, now we're controlling that top position. We want to do kind of like a side control, some kind of side control. So if we're here, the side control I want to look at today here is like this. We can talk about what is standard or non-standard or modified or whatever. But I think that a good one to really monitor his arms and monitor his hips and his explosiveness from here is with this arm over here, where the elbow is on this side of his head, and this hand back here like this. So I can kind of keep this arm here. This is especially good like if he's wanting to try to hug me or anything like that, right? So from this one, another reason I might do this is if he's got this underhook established. If I keep arms here, he can really lift and he can start making some space here like that and start trying to get out. So if he establishes that underhook, then I'm going to probably swim this back and put it by his hip and kind of kill that underhook as best I can, like that. If though he's still turning up into me here, he's coming this way, then whenever he's coming here this way, I'm going to wrap over and fish through for the guillotine. Right? So I'm coming through and this here. I'm going to try to hook that right on his trachea. Now I like the bend of the wrist here so that it kind of matches the shape, right? So that way I can get the blood and it's not just all trachea, it's not just a bar across his trachea like that. It's actually like cupping in and matching that V so it can be a blood choke. I'm going that side here, right? Now there's a couple of things we can do on the other side with this other arm here, like this. So once I get inside and I wrap here for the choke, right? I could go over the arm here, but that tends to help him a little bit. It tends to make some space, right? I could try to fish in front of it, but that requires me pulling my shoulder back, and that might allow him then to turn up and get out of this. So what I like to do here is I try to swim inside like this, and I'm gonna grab his shoulder on this side, right? So this underhook that I establish here, I pull the shoulder back and away from the choke. At the same time I'm doing that, I'm gonna sprawl my legs back and turn my chest up to the ceiling this way here. So I feel kind of like I'm trying to pull his head off, but really I'm just kind of pulling it tighter to the choke and separating that shoulder away from the neck here to stretch the neck, and a stretched out neck is easier to choke, right? So again, we've established this here. If he's trying to get the underhook, I brought this one back like this. I'll allow his head to come up, I'll allow him to get up that much, and then I'm gonna wrap over this way, and I want to try to find where that hand fits nicely into the neck that way. And then I swim, underhook, pull, and you'll notice like, so the leg that's closest to his head side is up, that knee is up off the ground, the foot's flat on the floor. I'm sprawling the leg that's closer to his legs down here. Dropping my hip, pulling his shoulder back, and then pulling my hand deeper into his neck here. Here, this way. If it won't fit, you know, like if you can't fit a fist in there, then go like ninja fist kind of thing. Just go hand. As long as he's not peeling at my fingers, it's okay. That's why I kind of like this ninja tiger leopard paw kung fu style. Pull open. Okay, questions? Nothing about the ninja leopard tiger paw. Okay, let's go. You're not, every choke's gonna have three elements to it, right? It's got air, pain, and blood. So the tracheal aspect of it, you are constricting the airway, but that's not the one you really want to depend on. Right? It's a little harder to choke somebody unconscious, like just constricting the airway. It takes a little longer, and it's more potentially damaging. It's more potentially dangerous because you can crush that trachea. The neck, the muscles of the neck, they tend to armor the trachea better than they do the carotid. Right? So we want to focus on the carotid. So every choke's going to be a little painful, but we don't want to focus on that either, because pain gets kind of a ballistic response sometimes. He may like give you more explosive energy defending that, whereas if you're kind of lulling into it and it doesn't feel quite as threatening, then maybe will fall asleep a little faster, then he will like spaz out on you. So blood is where we want to focus all the effort, but they're all going to have a percentage of those elements to it. Now, if as he's coming up and he doesn't come up in a way that rolls me back to my back or allows me to roll back to my back and pull into the guard and finish the guillotine like we were just doing, maybe he turtles up. I still have a connection to him, but he actually kind of gets more of a turtle position, right? So our hips are kind of out of alignment. This is what I'm talking about. If like we hear like this and he goes to turtle up on me, we're like this, and so like, yeah, we want it this way. So now I have a bit of a front headlock established rather than a choke. And instead of me like trying to jump in and go back to that guillotine like that, he's put himself in a good position for me because I am connected here and here to set up other kinds of chokes, like maybe an anaconda choke or maybe a Darce choke. So I don't remember last time we did anaconda choke, but I want to focus on the Darce choke tonight. The main difference in those two, they're both arm triangles, they're both in the umbrella arm triangles, right? But from here, if my arm enters in by the neck and comes out by the armpit, right? So in other words, it goes here and here, like this, right? Then this is going to be a setup for an anaconda choke. Darce is the opposite. Darce comes in by the armpit, exits by the neck here. Now from turtle, there's a preliminary step that I need to do to be able to like set up the Darce choke. And what happens there is if I get over like this and I pull through. So from the connection that I had, this kind of front headlock, I'm just going to pull my hand through to this way here, and I'm going to gable grip my two hands together. Once I do that, this form here on the back of his neck is going to push down on his head, and I'm going to lift up, and that's going to kind of pancake him back over that way. Right? So let's go from the other side here. I go here, enter in by his armpit, come out by his neck here. Make the connection, and then this pushes down, and I kind of flip him over this way, and then I want to make sure I come back in front of him though, so that I'm more perpendicular. I don't want to stay up north. When he first flips over, I'm maybe here. I want to get in front of him. And then once I get past his hair, I go here like this. Okay? And then I'm going to drop this one to the floor, reach up, grab here, and then I sprawl my hips into him, right? I don't sprawl my hips and legs down and away. I sprawl and push forward here at the same time, right? The whole time squeezing, constricting this. So again, I'm surfing turtle here. I go in by his armpit, out by his neck, that way. Gable grip the two hands together. So this one that's coming out is like waving here. This one comes to meet it. I push down with the forearm, flip up and over, move myself around in front of him. This one stays here to block, because sometimes if I just reach this one in independently, he may look up and back, and then I lose it, right? So this one keeps it blocked and may even go to the floor. And then I push this in as deep as I can, drop my elbow to the floor now, and then I squeeze and sprawl here. Okay? There's different ways I can finish this choke, but this is a pretty good one. And I think it's good to learn how to finish it this way first before we start making modifications on it to help. You guys see the choke? Questions? Let's go. So once I roll him over, if my chest is heavy on top of his shoulder and I try to get deep here, yeah, it's going to be a little hard. So I'm going to roll back this way a little bit. I'm going to rest my neck on his ribs, right? So watch what that allows me to do with my arm here. See what I mean? So that's way in there, especially if I do this and pull his head in tight too. Then I just turn back and it's locked up. So don't sit there square and like, even with nothing there, right? Except my large pectoral muscles, I can't hit this in that deep. But if I turn, that allows me a lot deeper. So I'm just gonna open up and put my neck back here, boom, this way, real deep. Okay? And the actual choke, you don't have to be bicep deep. I aim for bicep deep, but if you just have this forearm against his neck, that's okay. And a triangle choke typically will use 2 of your limbs and 1 of his, right? Just like the leg triangle. It's going to use his own arm at one point, that shoulder of his own arm going into one side of his neck, blocking the blood flow there. The other side is going to be some part of you, like your leg or your arm over here. And then the back of the neck has the other part of that arm too, right? So in this case here, it's my tricep, my forearm, and his own shoulder. Does that make sense? From the guard, right? The guard is just here, my leg biting his neck, going with my calf on the back here, and then his own shoulder being pushed there by this leg, right? So a triangle is a triangle is a triangle, and that's just kind of how they work. 2/3 you, 1/3 him. Okay? Any other questions I didn't answer about the Darce though? So let's go through that progression, right? We started from side control. He turns up on his side. So he turns up on his side. First one here, I grab this way, I swim back inside, I grab the shoulder, I turn the face, I get the tap here, right? Second one here, I wrap the neck, but I didn't get the underhook. He turns up into me, I pull into the guard, I get the guillotine from guard, right? Third one, here, wrap like this, he turns up, I kind of push away, fall away like this, I move to the side here, flip him over, roll down, get my arm in nice and deep, fix up the Darce, squeeze, get the tap from that. Okay? Side control guillotine, guard guillotine, and then Darce choke. Okay? Let's review those.